How to get rid of sleep apnea naturally? What causes sleep apnea? Is sleep apnea and diabetes linked? What about sleep apnea and obesity? Sleep apnea is a bit of a mystery condition, and it is not entirely clear what causes sleep apnea. There is a clear link between sleep apnea and diabetes and sleep apnea and obesity. The link to a deficiency in vitamin B and sleep apnea is clear. You can get rid of sleep apnea in most cases by changing your diet and lifestyle. Facts about sleep apnea. According to the World Health Organization, over 100 million people suffer from sleep apnea around the world. The condition is more common in large cities and urban populations than in smaller communities. At the moment, 1 in every 4 men and 1 in every 9 women around suffer from sleep apnea. Cases of sleep apnea are on the increase, and an increasing amount of research is taking place into sleep apnea. In the United States alone, 12 million people suffer from sleep apnea and cases are on the increase. What is sleep apnea? Can you get rid of sleep apnea? Sleep apnea is a condition which affects the way you breathe during your sleep. During sleep, breathing becomes interrupted or may become extremely shallow. As a result, you spend more time in light sleep rather than in a deep sleep. Without deep sleep, we do not function well and can also cause a range of health conditions such as high blood pressure. Is sleep apnea and snoring the same thing? Sleep apnea is not the same thing as snoring. There are 3 types of sleep apnea: obstructive sleep apnea, central sleep apnea, and complex sleep apnea. Obstructive sleep apnea happens when the soft tissue in the back of the throat relaxes too much during sleep, resulting in a blocked airway. An obstruction can cause loud snoring and severe sleep disturbances. Central sleep apnea occurs when our brains do not signal the muscles which control our breathing. Most of the time, this does not lead to snoring, but will wake us up if we are not getting enough oxygen. Complex sleep apnea is a combination of the 2 conditions and can affect the oxygen level in your blood. The brain kickstarts your breathing when your throat muscles relax too much, and you may wake up experiencing a sensation of not being able to breathe. What are the symptoms of sleep apnea in adults? It can be difficult to pinpoint the symptoms of sleep apnea if you sleep alone. But if you have a partner, ask them if they are concerned about your sleep pattern. It is not a simple condition to diagnose, but there are still specific symptoms which are a link to sleep apnea. If you are concerned about having the condition, you should look out for the following symptoms. Loud and chronic snoring is one of the most common symptoms. It goes on throughout the night and will keep a partner awake. Pauses in breathing are also usual. You may find that you wake up gasping for breath, and sometimes there are even signs of no visible breathing. Some sufferers of sleep apnea often have to sit up to regain their breath and feel anxious at the same time. Tiredness is another one of the leading symptoms. When you have not slept well, you will have a problem coping with daily life and can even feel disoriented. Loss of concentration and memory problems are both symptoms often experienced by sufferers from sleep apnea. Depression is common among long-term sufferers from sleep apnea, and anxiety seems to be another symptom, which seems to kick in when the condition goes on for an extended period. During the daytime, sufferers of sleep apnea may also experience both a sore and dry throat. Dry mouth syndrome is also common when you suffer from the condition. Frequent bathroom visits can cause concern, and in men over 50, They are sometimes mixed up with prostate problems, which can lead to an initial misdiagnosis. What triggers sleep apnea, and is it an anxiety disorder? It is not clear what triggers sleep apnea, but there are several health conditions which have clear links to the disease. Obesity is only one concern which doctors may point out to their patient. When you suffer from obesity, you put more of a strain on the muscles in the throat, and your body may even have a hard time producing some of the hormones linked to sleep. The vast majority of sufferers experience an excess weight problem and diabetes. However, as nearly all with the condition suffer from vitamin B deficiency, there is a link to poor diet. Allergies can cause sleep apnea, and environmental factors such as pollution are known to be involved. Some patients have enlarged tonsils and adenoids which contribute to inflammatory disease caused by eating the wrong food. If you think you suffer from sleep apnea, try keeping a food diary to see if the condition worsens when you eat certain foods such as dairy products and meat. Avoiding foods which create mucus is a vital part of the treatment process. How to control sleep apnea naturally? How can you stop sleep apnea? Most people with the condition would like to get rid of sleep apnea. But before you embark on that journey, you need to be prepared to make lifestyle changes. Sleep apnea is not a health problem which is going to fix itself with the help of what has become known as 24-hour medicine. The first thing you need to do when you suffer sleep apnea is to check your weight. Are you overweight? If you are experiencing weight problems, it is essential that you change your diet. Switching your diet to a more plant-based diet will help to reduce your weight and the inflammation in your body which leads to the risk of disease. The link in between vitamin B and sleep apnea indicates you may not be eating enough fresh fruit and vegetables. A diet rich in grain can also help to reduce your weight and help you to sleep better. Do you suffer from allergies? Environment allergies are common, but on top of the list come food allergies. Food intolerances against dairy products and non-organic meat are far more common than we think. For instance, dairy foods are not healthy for us unless they contain the essential probiotics which help us healthy. Taking a good quality probiotic will help to improve your digestive system and can long-term aid weight control. Non-organic meats contain hormonal residues from production, along with the traces of antibiotics. Once again, this is where probiotics come into play. Our continued exposure to antibiotics affects our immune system and will lead to tissue inflammation as seen in sleep apnea. Do you have man boobs? Almost 90% of men who suffer from sleep apnea have man boobs. The condition can occur in obese men, but in many cases, the cause is down to hormonal imbalances. These imbalances are caused by what you eat on a daily basis. If your food intake is high in pork products, your estrogen level will be higher, and this in turn causes man boobs. Factory farmed pigs have hormones added to their feed to fatten them up, and the same passed down the food chain to you. Top 10 foods to avoid when you want to get rid of sleep apnea. Can you die if you have sleep apnea? It is a life-threatening disease and can cause death. If you suffer from the condition and once diagnosed, you should take immediate action. Change your diet and focus on eating healthy plant-based foods for weight loss and reduction of inflammation in the body. Drink less alcohol to reduce sleep apnea and diabetes. If you have been diagnosed with sleep apnea, you should immediately stop drinking alcohol. It causes problems with the liver, and you need to make sure that you metabolize your food correctly. The liver produces hormones and bile which is used to digest fats. In your battle to lose weight, having a healthy liver is essential. Remove trans fats from your diet to cut risk of sleep apnea and obesity. The vast majority of processed foods contains trans fats. They affect the way our bodies deal with sugar and will lead to you piling on the pounds without even thinking about it. The problem is that they are non-visible fats. In other words, unlike fats and meat, you cannot see them. Palm oil is a trans fat found in most products and is a clear link to the obesity crisis. Chips and ready-made dried food products. Chips and other ready-made food products are full of things which can make your sleep apnea worse. The body can't digest most flavor additives and they consist of parabens which preserve dried food products. Instead of buying chips, why don't you buy dried fruits and nuts? Both will help you to lose weight and are excellent source of vitamin B. Dairy products. Milk, cheese, and most fermented dairy foods have very little nutritional value and may not contain probiotics. Swap them for nut-based milk like almond milk, oat milk, and coconut milk. All three are rich in plant enzymes, which will help you to digest your food and boost your immune system at the same time. Meats and health hazards linked to eating meat. Meat can increase the risk of sleep apnea and obesity. The main culprit linked to sleep apnea is pork, but other meats can cause problems. If the meat that you eat has not been certified as being organically produced, you can be sure it contains additives which you don't need in your diet. Even with the organic meat, you have to be careful. The animals may still have been given antibiotics as part of their feed, and it can pass down to you. White bread and pasta products. Once again, you are dealing with a food source which has low nutritional benefits to your diet. It is better to eat a diet rich in whole grain bread and pasta made from plant-based foods such as buckwheat. This natural grain is rich in dietary fiber and all of the members of the vitamin B family. Shop-bought juices versus freshly squeezed. Stop drinking juice to get rid of sleep apnea. Instead of focusing on drinking more juice to improve your fruit intake, try eating fruit instead. Avoid fruits, which can be potentially high in purines as they will not help you to lose weight or reduce inflammation. By drinking juices, you also miss out on fruit fiber, which is an essential part of any diet plan. Shop-bought fruit juices are high in sugar, and freshly squeezed varieties are more beneficial in treating short-term health conditions. Sugar cakes and cookies can cause sleep apnea and obesity. When you suffer from sleep apnea, you often crave sugar-based foods. Craving sweet things have to do with the fact that you are not sleeping well and you do not have the energy to function during the day. Snacking on sugar-based foods is not the solution. Try snacking on fruits rich in potassium such as bananas. Eaten on their own, bananas will help to fill you up and give you energy at the same time. Coffee can cause sleep apnea. Coffee is not bad for you, but when you do have a problem with sleep apnea, it will not help you sleep. During the period your body is adjusting to your new diet, it is a good idea to limit the amount of coffee you drink. However, in general, coffee is good for us, but it will make it more difficult for you to sleep well. Carbonated drinks are a big no-no. It can upset your digestion. It does not matter if your carbonated drink is a diet drink. It will still upset your digestion and upset your immune system. When you would like to improve your metabolism to get rid of your sleep apnea, it is a good idea to try to stick to water and make sure you keep yourself well hydrated. Improved hydration will help to cope with a sore throat and a dry mouth syndrome. In fact, carbonated drinks may block the saliva gland, and this is why you may feel thirsty after having drunk a diet drink. Sleep apnea is becoming more common should want to make you take action. The link in between sleep apnea and diabetes, sleep apnea and obesity may be clear to most of us. However, discovering the connection between vitamin B and sleep apnea surprised scientists. It does prove that diet plays an essential role to get rid of sleep apnea, and changing our diet and lifestyle are two of the best ways to get rid of sleep apnea naturally.